There is something we all believe we have more of until we don't. Time. Some waste it, some chase it, and some never truly live at all. This is the story of a man who spent his life waiting, until one day, time ran out. Once, in a busy city, there lived a man named Elias. He was always waiting for the right moment, waiting for life to begin. Elias always told himself, "Tomorrow I'll start living." But tomorrow never came. He ignored invitations from friends. He skipped family dinners. He worked late nights, convincing himself that success would bring happiness. One evening, as Elias left work, he noticed an old train station he had never seen before. A single sign read, "Final departure." Curious, he stepped inside. Inside, the station was empty, except for an old man behind the ticket counter. His silver hair shone under the dim lights, and his deep-set eyes carried the weight of lifetimes. "Where does this train go?" Elias asked. The old man smiled faintly. "Wherever your life was meant to." Elias frowned. "I don't understand." The old man slid the golden ticket across the counter. "This is your ticket. The price has already been paid." Elias hesitated. "By whom?" The old man's gaze deepened. "By the life you never lived." The station clock struck midnight. The sound echoed through the empty halls. A train's whistle blew in the distance. Elias looked around. The walls were covered with faded photographs of birthdays he missed, friends he never met, places he never visited. His entire life, unlived, displayed before him. His heart pounded. "What happens if I take the train?" The old man sighed. "You move forward, but you can never go back." Elias turned toward the exit. The door was gone. Only a vast, endless night remained outside. Tears filled Elias' eyes. "I wasted it. I wasted my life." The old man placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "The tragedy is not running out of time. The tragedy is never having lived at all." The train doors opened with a soft hiss. Elias gripped the golden ticket. His hands trembled. He turned to the old man, his voice cracking. "Is there another way?" The old man gave a sad smile. "Time is borrowed. Once spent, it cannot be reclaimed." Elias looked at the train. The door stood open, waiting. But his feet felt heavy, like chains of regret held him back. A final whistle echoed through the empty station. The train would not wait. Elias swallowed hard. His mind raced through possibilities. The things he had never done, the laughter he had never shared, the life he had postponed, until there was no more time left. He stepped forward. As he reached the door, a sudden wave of longing struck him. He turned back to the old man. "If I could go back, what should I do differently?" The old man's voice was almost a whisper. "Live." The train doors began to close. A desperate cry tore from Elias's throat. "Please, just one more chance." Everything around him shattered, like glass breaking in reverse. The station dissolved into a blur of light and sound. Then, silence. A sharp gasp. Elias jolted awake. Sunlight streamed through his bedroom window. His alarm clock blinked. 7 a.m. His heart pounded. He was back. For the first time in decades, Elias didn't reach for his phone. He didn't check emails. He didn't rush to work. Instead, he picked up the phone and dialed a number he hadn't called in years. When his mother answered, her voice cracked with surprise. "Elias." Tears streamed down his face. "Mom, I just wanted to say I love you." That day, Elias didn't go to the office. He went to the park and watched children play. He had coffee with an old friend. He laughed, truly laughed, for the first time in years. He had been given a second chance, and this time, he would not waste it. Most people believe they will live forever, until they realize they won't. The real tragedy is not running out of time. The real tragedy is never having lived at all. How are you spending your time? The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But today? Today is yours. Live it fully.